Welcome to another video. Today in this video, I would like to talk about COVID vaccine stocks and some of the biotech ETFs related to COVID vaccines. Disclaimer, this is not an advice, do your own research and trade at your own risk. This is purely just my opinion and in below I describe my position in each of the ETF and stock. Take a second and please click the like button before you continue the video. Thank you. So, okay, let's look into those winners for the year so far. Moderna, Novavax, and Biontech. Biontech tied up with Pfizer, and Moderna and Novavax, Biontech, all three have been big vaccine winners for this year so far. So in this video, let's look at three small players, Inovio, Sorrento, and Vaxart, whose vaccines are still in clinical trials and have potential next few months to chance to go up. You might be thinking these vaccines are already approved. BioNTech, Pfizer, and Moderna vaccine are already getting close to approval, and they have 90% or above, protection. Why the hell do we invest into these stocks? That's a very interesting point. Let's look into for a few minutes and see why my logic. Okay, so if you look at it, Novavax is one of the top performing stock for the year, more than 3000%, beats NIO's 2005% return. So even though they didn't have still announced their phase 3 results and not even close to the approval, their stock went up by 3000%. Okay, so which means the Moderna and the Novavax, the Moderna and BioNTech might still have a lot more potential, especially Moderna right now trading at $120. I hear keep saying that analysts keep saying that it'll hit 150 and $200, but so that's only like 10 to 20% from the current price. Okay, so let's look at the potential of other small players right now. So take pinch of salt. This is only my small investment into these stocks, but most of my investment for healthcare is tied up in ARK Genomic ETF and XBI. ARK Genomic is one of the top performing healthcare ETF for the year with 140% return. But they missed vaccine boat completely. They did not invest in Novavax, Moderna, or any other stocks. So that's the reason why I invested into XBI ETF, SPDR Biotech ETF. So with 1 year return of greater than 40%, but for 2021, I'm expecting a lot more return for this ETF. So XBA invests into Novavax, Moderna, Inovio, Sorrento, and a lot of these other biotech stocks. Its main competitor, which is the iShares Biotech ETF, has returned only 20% for the year. So that's the reason why I invested into XBA. Moderna and Biotech, both vaccines need pretty cold temperatures during storage and transportation. And world needs billions of COVID vaccines next few years. Okay, so they cannot make billions of vaccines, and also the coldest temperature storage and transportation is not possible in a lot of countries, and their vaccines based on mRNA is pretty expensive. It's not in $3 or $4 range, but it's $20 to $30 range. Okay, so but we need billions of these vaccines. So there's a reason why Inovio's DNA-based vaccine, which can be handled at room temperatures, has huge advantage selling in third countries. Okay, so if the phase 3 trial gets approved and they really make vaccine, it's a huge news. There is huge potential of Inovio stock to go to 200% in next couple of months. So both of their stocks, Sorrento and Inovio, had a great correction of 70% in last few months. So that's the reason, and they have been going up recently. That's the reason why I'm more interested in these stocks. And again, it's not me. Government is pumping millions of dollars with contracts in both of these companies. Okay, so I'll show you that in a minute. Okay, so as I said, Inovia is in phase 2 and 3 trials, and we are expecting some news in the next couple of weeks pretty soon. Okay, so let's look into Inovia. Inovio Pharmaceuticals is a late-stage biotechnology company which is involved in developing DNA-based immunotherapies and vaccines, focused on treating and preventing cancers and infectious disease. So it's basically immunotherapy and vaccine-based company for cancers and infectious diseases, and it's mainly driven by DNA technology, and they focus on vaccines and therapies for cancers, influenza, prostate, breast, and hepatitis B, and then Ebola and MERS and Zika virus. There are very few companies that are as diversified as Inovia in vaccine and immunotherapies. And also they have an equipment, their own sophisticated equipment called Collectra, which can be release DNA vaccine into your body more efficiently than other vaccines. Okay, so let's get into Inovia stock little more closely. Okay, so this is the one I'm talking about, Novavax, which was trading at $4 few months back. Now it's at $126. So imagine you buying stock at $4 and then getting 3,000% return in a year. Okay, so this is already went up by 3,000%. I'm not personally, even though it has great potential, I'm not personally interested in investing at this point right now. Okay, let's look into other stocks. Okay, so this is the one, the XBI I'm talking about, which has a 40% return for the year. Okay, so if you look at XBI, what they invest into, they invest into they invest into Moderna, Inovio, Sorrento, all these vaccine companies I was talking about. Okay, that's the reason why I am more interested for COVID perspective for 2021 this ETF. Okay, so let's look into Inovio stock. So Inovio stock also went almost 400% for the year. But if you look at the maximum hit in June on the COVID news was close to $32. So right now, if you look at the base where the resistance for Inovia stock, it's around $10. So it's not going below $10, and potentially it went up by 20% on last Friday. Okay, so if the results are good for its vaccine in phase 2, phase 3, there is a very high chance that next 2 3 months it might break out to 14, 15, $16, even up to $20. Okay, so that is why I'm betting on Inovia. So let us look into briefly what Inovia and what is their DNA based vaccines and immunotherapies.
Way forward in DNA medicines to meet urgent global health needs. Inovio's DNA medicines are designed to activate the immune system in vivo, to generate robust T cell and antibody responses, protect against pathogens, and break immune tolerance for tumors. Inovio's modern platform is like no other DNA or mRNA technology, pairing rapid design with groundbreaking delivery. First, we select an appropriate target, such as a
Okay, so you get the idea. So antibodies plus T cells. T cells are very important. Antibodies give you the protection against the disease for some time, but T cells gives you protection for a longer term. So those are important, and especially which is this is quite different from mRNA. Okay, so you can look at what their technology is and what they are. In my view, they are very diversified, and also on a long term they have more potential to grow compared to small other drug companies. Okay, so this is the recent article news about Inovio. Inovio announces initiation of phase 2 segment of its phase 2/3 clinical trial for its COVID DNA vaccine. So the reason why stock fell so bad was multiple reasons, not one. Okay, one is FDA investigation. This is purely fantasies, went up too much here. Okay, but there was multiple investigations on short seller report that caused the stock drop. Okay, but there was some good news on quarter results and also more potential for the vaccine. That's the reason why the stock is on again rise. So if you look at the news, FDA halted their vaccine testing, but they recently, last 2 weeks back, they gave approval to continue the again their drug testing. And also the main question from FDA regarding Inovias is right now pending is regarding their Collateral device. This is a special device they have patent and they have manufactured to release DNA vaccine into human body cells. So once they answer these questions, I think it's all clear with FDA, and they can continue on their phase 2 and 3 results. Okay, so this article talks about the pros about Inovia stock. Okay, first of all, it's saying DNA technology is not just Inovia. There are almost 19 companies who is working on this, and also they're working on either antibodies or vaccines or other therapies. Okay, so DNA is more like a platform, where and also RNA is more like a platform. So Biontech, Moderna are based on RNA, and Inovia is based on DNA. So based on RNA, there are 29 companies doing research on it. Okay, so this article talking about why Moderna and Biontech, the vaccines are not practically easy to store, deliver, and a logistic nightmare to ship to bigger countries, sorry, smaller countries. Within USA, there are so many challenges. They are ordering special freezers to store and transport these vaccines. But when you go to a poorer countries like Asia and Africa, so there are a lot more challenges. They can't have these facilities. That's the reason why there is still opportunity for vaccine that is built on DNA platform, which can survive on a room temperature. Okay, so coming here, so as I was telling you before, Inovia is not just COVID vaccine. Even if COVID doesn't work, still I think it's decently good company, diversified company. They have therapies and vaccines in a lot of other diseases. So this is almost their clinical studies are showing in different phases. Okay, so the financial, let's come to financials. It's a very solid financial company, still have 340 million, and we will in a minute we will review their quarter results. So they have strong cash position. There is no chance of any bankruptcy. That is what I look for initially. What is the chance of this company being bankrupt in next 2 to 3 years if I am investing in a company like this? So they have so much patents and so much intellectual value. There is no chance that this company is going to bankrupt. Okay, so going back to the valuation, basically what this is saying is, first of all, the vaccine costs with Moderna are expensive, so 30 to 20 to $40, whereas vaccine costs with other companies are cheaper. And if you look at price to book ratio, Moderna and Biontech are very expensive, whereas Inovia, if they can successful, then it's cheapest one based on the book value. Okay, so let's look at directly some stats on TDM trade. So if you look at here, the stock is heavily speculative stock, up and downs, and then its short interest is 36%, okay, which is huge, but decently held by institutions. So this is a good sign. 35% is a good sign. Okay, and as I said, it is a $2 billion company. So if you look at the ratings and other things, obviously it's not like 9 or 10. Okay, the reason being that other vaccine companies are ahead of Inovia. That's the reason why this is not rated, and also they had to go through a lot of scrutiny from FDA recently. Okay, that's the reason why some of the companies, analyst companies, they have downgraded the stock in a while. Okay, so if you look at the quarter results from the last quarter, they beat the quarter. The expected was negative 25 cents per share. They made a positive 11 cents per share. So their quarter results, they had a sales of 236 million. Okay, so whereas the expectation was 3 million. So this is not 7.64%, but this is 7,640% rise, better than expectations. The same time, 27,000% increase over sales of the previous quarter. So this quarter for me looks awesome. Okay, so they are making a $240 million per quarter. It's a lot of revenue, and then it's much larger than a lot of EV companies they make. Okay, so let's come to the next vaccine in my video. This is about Sorrento Therapeutics. Okay, so let's look at what is Sorrento Therapeutics. This is only founded in 2009. It has a 2.8 billion market cap. It's again clinical stage biotech company. So it has into cancer, pain. So they have pain medication in pending in cancer and COVID-19. So after COVID-19 came, so they are big time into COVID-19 programs in the pipeline. They have three basically. One is COVID-19 testing, one is COVID-19 vaccine, and antibody treatments. You will see in a news article where they have good progress on the antibody treatments. So it's not just the vaccine that we depend on, it's also antibody treatments that we need, because people, once they get a COVID, vaccine doesn't work anymore. They need a treatment that can reduce the disease. So it's called, the antibody treatment is called Covagar. So this is a neutralizing antibody treatment. They have just received clearance for phase 1 hospitalized COVID-19 patients. So which means they are already using and testing this for hospitalized COVID-19 patients. Okay, so the company is targeting a potential emergency use of authorization and submission early as before end of the year. So this is huge. That's the reason why I like this company. Once they get approval for this one, the stock is going to skyrocket. Even though the vaccine is in an early stage, the antibodies is what I'm looking for in this company. Okay, so let's look into Sorrento Therapeutics. Yes, $2 billion company. Percentage held by institutions is 27% less than Inovio, but short interest rate is around the same. Okay, the ranking is also same. As you can see here, Sorrento gets DARPA contract for up to $34 million to develop neutralizing antibodies for COVID-19. So they have tested this in current hospital patients. They saw the potential. So in order to make that commercially available on a large scale, they need a lot of money. So government is funding $34 million. So if this is successful, then imagine their revenue is going to go crazy. Okay, so next in my list is Vaxart. So Vaxart is a special company, as you can see here again. Let's look into my notes here. It's formerly Average Therapeutics is focused on discovery and development of direct-acting antivirus to treat infections that affect patients globally. Company has 3 product candidates in clinical stage address viral infections that have limited therapeutics options. It's basically antiviral products. Okay, so and also antiviral treatments phase 2 development of other diseases. So if you look at Vaxart, so this ranked is much better. The one concern I have with Vaxart is this is already up for the year. It is like 30 cents company. This is already up by 2000%, but this is really good rated company. So if you look at, this is the summary of Vaxart. Vaxart is working on an oral COVID-19 tablet. So this is not a regular vaccine, but it's a tablet vaccine that you can take through the mouth without the logistics nightmare of other vaccines from mRNA platform. So this is early stages, still getting tested on animals, and then phase 1, phase 2, phase 3. So my hope on this one is not much on vaccine at this point, but if any chance this goes to phase 1 or phase 2, on that huge news, the stocks is going to break out. Okay, going back, So my conclusion, so that's what I'm saying. Vaxart is up already 2000% per the year. So you have to trade carefully. When you these are 2000, 3000% up for the year, then they have to really have to meet the quarter results. Otherwise, their stock will be, will go down a big time. Okay. So conclusions. So the main reason why the stocks are going up. Okay. So Inovio stock is up 20% last week, and also other stocks. The last week, AstraZeneca had bad news with their COVID vaccine. So that platform, the whole platform. So then a lot of people had a lot of big hopes, obviously for mRNA, DNA based vaccines. That's the reason why Moderna, Novavax, and Inovio stocks broke out last week because of somebody had a bad news. They are taking advantage of the bad news, and they can see the more demand for these vaccines rather than AstraZeneca, because AstraZeneca has some issues on clinical data as well. So there is lingering doubts whether they can get an FDA approval or not. That's the reason why these vaccines are on momentum again and they're going up. So, but I'm going to increase my investment into Inovio and Sorrento based on the fact that next 2-3 months these stocks will have a chance to double or triple based on COVID vaccine phase 2-3 trials and also antibody drug approval. Okay, so I do not have a huge position in these stocks I have, but I only mainly for healthcare. I'm invested into ARK funds as well as XBI ETFs. But since they have potential to go up 200 to 300% next couple of months, I'll be I'll be adding more position to Inovio and Sorrento stocks. So somebody can say, first of all, these are very speculative, high risky stocks. Okay, so somebody is conservative, but they want to still get into vaccine stocks. How can they do it? So if you are too conservative, you can buy the stock around $12 or $11 if it goes down next week sometime. Sell covered calls for 2023 strike date and get a $5 premium for $25 strike price. Okay, so basically, if the if the if the stock goes up by $25, that's 100% return, another 40% return for the premium. So your effective price of the stock will be $7, which reduces your risk a lot. So then you can see how the stock is moving. Based on that, you can buy actually more stock or not buy more stock. So this is the strategy I'm taking. So I'll be investing more into these two companies. Let me know what your thoughts are. Okay. So please click like button and we'll see you on my next video. Thank you.